Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the kingdom, y'all. You already know it's the king speaking to you, and you stepping straight into part 12 of Disco Elysium. I know it's been a little while, but we back. Let's keep it going. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while, so I had to go back to the last video, see what we were doing. But if I remember correctly, we're gonna talk to the chef here, and then we're gonna talk to the homie over there, in the little dining room area. So let's do this. I don't even remember. Oh, what'd I do? There we go. I zoomed in somehow, don't know how to
The
zoom out.
man
There we go.
ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod, acknowledging your presence.
Leo said you're friends with Manana, is that true? What is in that borscht you're making there? Let's do this one first.
The mention of manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again. They're friends?
Do you know what's behind that door? What's in your borscht that you're making there? That's what we're trying to figure out.
The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak.
Yes, nod, no, shake your head. Sorry, I don't understand you.
Just one word. Sounds quizzical. Then he awaits your answer with his brow arched.
Yes.
Horse need more vodka?
He picked up a bottle from the shelf.
Okay, so it's vodka that keeps the men happy and in good spirits. Clever move by the Union.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself.
No, don't do it.
Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg.
Yes, nod and turn your fingers clockwise. Turn the vodka up. No vodka. Turn your fingers counterclockwise. Cut it. I'll leave the cooking to you.
The cook gives you a long, disappointed look, then turns the stove off and seems to wait for you to speak.
Yeah, asking about the door again.
He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Alright, well, let's see here. Get signatures. One signature secured mail document. Alright. So we completed the special borscht. What's so special about the borscht? It's in the vodka is what makes it special. I don't know. There we go. Alright, let's go talk to this guy over here. It's about time.
This is where you say your bed.
A broad-shouldered man points at you with a beer can.
Detective.
The lieutenant acknowledges you with a sharp note. He's leaving it to you. Don't say anything yet. First, we need to talk about your attitude. We need to talk about the man hanged out back.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that won't.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for $1 million.
He flaps his forehead.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
These guys are so macho, they're ready to confess to first-degree murder. Ask if it was them. Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match.
Alright, let's scan the room.
Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man. In his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. eldest in the room, probably mid-50s, smoker, quiet. Across, at the other table, hobnailed working boots, size 43, gang tattoos, Mesk or Sarah Mauritian in his late 30s, early 40s. And then, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 46, the big dick, wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips, rugby cap, fingerless gloves, and numerous scars, a little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain. In the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum?
Where?
On his neck. Forget it. It's not important. Let's call this one the musician.
Alright. And the little guy?
Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy, boot size 46, deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He alone is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy.
One of them is missing, the odd soul.
Exactly. You've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Hit them with questions. Where's the 8th Hardy?
The fuck is with you, fella?
He's just staring at you with his head tilted. The man hanged in the backyard, did you do it? I found 8 sets of footprints, but there's only 7 of you. Where's the 8th Hardy boy? Start with that one.
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here.
He sizes you up.
Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy boy? We ain't hiring.
He shakes his head.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
This person Glenn wants to hire, he really respects her. She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl? Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like the lieutenant thinks so, too.
Alright.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. End.
He points at the lieutenant.
You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm watching you.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
There's no point in pushing further. So should I just not ask this? I'll just ask it.
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about that pretty boy.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
We have spoken to the head of the union. Why are your blueprints all over the scene? You're involved, somehow just don't have proof yet.
Evrard?
Yes, him.
And what did he tell you? That we killed him? That we took a cargo belt from the harbor, went out back, and used it to hang him? Because we did. All of us together. I hope he told the story straight. I hope he told it well.
Aha, so you just confessed the murder? That's it, the game's over. We got the perpetrator.
Goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
You murdered him just like that, no remorse? Who called the shots that night? When did this hanging incident occur? Why did you kill him? How did you kill him? Why didn't I just arrest you?
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol under the Coalition. During the suzerain's reign, it used to be the firing squad.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
He says it as if he were worse than dying. A reunion, what's that?
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the Coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
Yes, but these were all bad people, criminals, the scum of the earth. Look, I'm just doing my job, that's all. What we do is different. We enforce the law. You just kill people like it's nothing. Honestly, I drink so much I can't really remember anyone I've seen behind bars.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had to die.
Who called the shots that night?
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy Boy without arresting all Hardy Boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
A shadow of a smirk passes her lips as she tilts her head. So I can address her, I don't have to. One of them was more complicit than others. Address him, no, but seriously, who calls the shots around here?
That's for the courts in Les Jardins to decide. Not for the officer making an arrest. Which we all know you won't be.
Damn, they're cocky as hell. They got some confidence for sitting there being like, yeah, we did it, and they're staring me right in my face.
What you can do right now is go back to your station and write a report.
No. We'll stay here and discuss what happened that night.
When did this hanging accident occur?
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
This fixer turns to remind Titus.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
And how long had you known the victim?
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier, the representative for White Pines? The same company you are striking against?
No. I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what?
He rubs his chin, pretending to mull it over.
Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
How did you kill him?
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, Copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
Damn.
You're pretty sure you've had at least 2 years of cop school and many more of active service. Certainly enough to not put up with this backsass. Deliver a knockdown observation. This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
We need more. Did you muffle him? We haven't heard any reports of screams.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
Oh, I'm not gonna get away with this one. And it's a red check, so I can't redo it. Boy. Alright, right, I have another question about the lynching.
Like what, Copper?
Why did you kill him?
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum. And he stepped out alive in my town.
So he was a mercenary, that's it?
And he stepped out of line.
He repeats, jaws clamped shut like a vice.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Kohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. Right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hired merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
Hold on, how do you even know he was in Special Forces?
Cause one night, he walked straight up to the mic and said, I'm Oranese goddamn special forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all!
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some Oranese paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Right, but what did he actually do wrong? Okay, besides crimes against karaoke, what did he actually do wrong?
Wrong? He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
He wiped spittle from his mouth.
There's a slight unease in him, suddenly. He regrets mentioning the rape.
To kill us all, if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. That was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
The lieutenant's trying to make sense of this flood of information.
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming. Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt? Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
Shakes his head in disbelief. Was it the same girl who was sexually assaulted, raped, you said?
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
He repeats like a parrot. Right, but who did he rape then? This is a very serious allegation.
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter. And I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
Why don't I just arrest you? Step closer to Titus. So what are you gonna do now?
Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert dominance over you.
Not in the arresting mood?
His mean little eyes come alive with hatred.
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant tries to establish eye contact with you.
Easy now, let's just talk.
Wise move. You made the right choice there. Now make another one and get the fuck out of our booth. We're not gonna do this again.
So what are we gonna do now?
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus.
The lieutenant closes his notebook.
I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder. Even if it is a group responsibility. We're going to look into this.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us. Real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
Rent-a-cop. So that's what this is about. He doesn't see you as his equals.
Very low. Shit. Weak when you first met. I told you already I spoke to everyone and he said you'd cooperate. Alright, I'm just gonna leave for now. Alright, well, let's see what all we got here. So I leveled up. What do I want to level up? Hunches and gut feeling, dreams and waking life. Understand others, work your mirror neurons. I'm going with this one. Right. Accept that. And prove your authority to Titus Hardy. You have to gain authority in Titus's eyes for the investigation to advance. Soften him up at first. Maybe investigate the crime scene or the body. Look for a witness. Get up from the union boss or the company rep. Tie them to another crime. Get 2 signatures for Everhart. Get Isabel and Lily in the nameless fishing village down below. Find Morale, the cryptozoologist. Okay, I think he was on the other side as well. As for Renee, he looked uncharacteristically happy. Alright. So let's leave here and let's go back to the woman by the boat. Let's go talk to her.
There. Working class drunk. You know what this means, right?
Okay, case solved. Discard thought.
Cracked it. All in a good day's work.
Wait, what did I crack exactly? Open and shut. I don't even need to think about this anymore. Goodbye.
What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is.
It's her husband, the missing husband. It's the future leader of the proletarian uprising. It's some third option.
Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit. Didn't she repeatedly tell you her husband isn't Misinda? But he is missing. You heard her. The worry in her voice.
Give me champagne, I'm going in. This doesn't add up. I'm only making a fool of myself.
Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later.
Give me champagne,
There's
we're
no
going
need
in.
for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go and tell the working class woman what you found right now.
Let me talk. Okay. But I don't know. I'm kind of trying to make it seem like that's maybe not him. I don't know. Like he keeps kind of jumping to conclusions.
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname.
Look closer first. Kim, look. Bullet holes.
The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just chips in the sandstone. They look pretty ancient.
Kim, look. Bullet holes.
Where?
Point to the chips in the wall. Someone has been shot. Or cops. We should solve it. Nothing. Forget about it.
There? Those are old.
You mean like from the Revolution?
Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the Revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law.
Okay, well, can you tell me about the Revolution?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
Alright, well, got me 5 experience. Where is she at? Hello, I'm back.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
She pats her wet raincoat. I could use a coat like that. The rain is freezing. Neither do I. Pat your similarly wet cloak.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
By the way, I talked to Everett.
You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Finally, time to choose sides.
I didn't. He's a beautiful man, beautiful and just. Everett Clare is a hero of the workers' movement. He's a champion I've sworn fealty to. He's a bloated rainbow socialist. I can do business with him. For a socialist, he's reasonable. He's not the champion I've chosen. I wish to swear fealty to you in the cause of capital. If it's not important if I liked him, I was doing my job. Well, let's make her think that I don't like him. I mean, I'm trying to play the middle here.
Of course. He must have his practical uses. How else could he have kept his position all these years? Or wait, actually, he could have kept it with corruption. Fantastic, worm-like corruption that reaches into the bowels of the earth.
She looks at the ground and nods in agreement with herself.
The RCM does not pick sides in this, madame. I hope it doesn't come off any other way.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt worm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be...
She smiles.
Gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things.
Everett is helping me find my gun. I helped him turn up the heat on the borscht. He asked me to open the door. He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Oh. That's so... helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Oh no.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this, to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun? Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
He asked me to open the door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't
She raised her
ask
hand.
that.
No, I mean like a real door to someone's house.
Oh my. A real door?
The lieutenant does not say anything, but you hear the nylon of his jacket rustle as he looks at you.
It was nothing.
Of course. The RCM has the right to inspect any premises. How else would you catch the bad guys? The information was useful, I hope.
Her bartering mind cannot fathom that you didn't ask anything in return.
Frankly, what was done was not pretty at all, but neither was it illegal, and it was not for nothing.
Turns to you.
This seems serious.
I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Okay. The Union's militant wing organized the lynching. Everett says the Wild Pine sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead. Everett asked the Union's militant... Alright, don't say anything about him. He didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict. Let's do this.
The company did not send mercenaries after the Union. I told you in great detail about the mistakes my side made. And of course, I accept them completely. I just hope you don't share Everart's view on things. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The Pine certainly hasn't killed any of theirs.
Look who's defensive suddenly.
The Union's militant wing organized the lynching.
Yes, that's the talk about town. The Hardy Boys, they're called. Find the name rather amusing, honestly.
Everett asked the Union's militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation. He didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict that's developing.
How benevolent. Hopefully they'll help you sort this whole business out, if they haven't already.
We cannot discuss the specifics of an ongoing investigation, ma'am. Besides, you haven't exactly been forthcoming yourself.
That is only fair.
I've said all I can.
Well, I hope it yields something. Otherwise, you'll have opened that door for naught. Anything else? I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
No, it was more like he wanted things to get worse. In secret, of course.
We were alone. He seems very sure of his ability to keep things in control. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. I think he wants things to escalate. You're right. He was probably just showing off to me.
Or he wants you and me to believe he wants to go to war.
There's always that risk, ma'am. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
I think he may have just been messing with us. Kim's right. I'm pretty sure he means it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
This gave her pause. She's pensive, suddenly. Hard to say about what. Have I underestimated the Union's ferocity? She has to ask herself by now.
That's all I got to say.
What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating.
He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
To a nameless settlement down the coast nearby. Never else change the topic.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
She looks over the bay.
With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go there?
That's not so. You're quite fond of this village, aren't you?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another.
You've been to Martinez before?
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not.
Sounds like you missed those times.
Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats, like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
She tosses her head.
She's sentimental, all right. You don't know enough about her to find out why exactly. She will keep her secrets for now.
He wants to build a youth center here. Yeah. So you're sad and can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any information?
I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later, down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Word has traveled, yes, but nothing of real substance has surfaced yet, I gather. Wild Pines has eyes on the intersection, but not ears.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout. It would give them a read on the entire quarter.
It appears we are being monitored every step we take, colleague. Did we have any other business here?
No. Alright, well, Not as much came from that as I thought it was going to.
A sturdy metal door guards the southwest entrance to the apartment building. It's locked.
Yeah. So where do I want to go now? Okay, so we're going to come back here to Joyce because one of our tasks is to keep asking her about reality, which I did not remember was one of my tasks, and that's the one thing I didn't ask her about, so let's do it.
You're back. Good. More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the
yeah.
day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
This. Conceptualization. What is reach for something fundamental? Here we go. 97%. Can't mess this up.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment? This world does not deserve a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I have got the whole picture yet. I've got a clear picture. Let me proceed to another term.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways. What shape is this world in?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revichol-Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
Dark gray corona.
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Oh my god, wait. What the hell are you telling me? The pale. What do you mean corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together. Okay, and then everything will be okay?
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco, doesn't sound like any kind of disco I'd like to go to. I don't care about disco, I care about the commune.
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world. however wasted its opportunities.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
He's just out here judging. What are you? You said pale. What is pale?
The Pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to.
His voice is low, but firm. All she can say is,
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
What do you mean it's not part of reality?
Ma'am, remember you are dealing with a very sensitive and impressionable police officer who is still recovering from a recent medical episode.
The Lieutenant's right. Let's change topics.
Okay, so when he goes to bed, I'm
Do you
coming
want to
back.
know?
Don't you worry.
Anything.
Ask for Kim to step away while you discuss the pale.
good idea. Just
Oh,
ask
nice.
him. He won't make a scene.
Kim, can I talk to the man alone for a second?
Fine.
Steps away with his notes. Here we go.
See? What can he do? You're a grown man.
Now, what is this pale?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
Yeah, tell me, what's the pale?
Okay. The Pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective. The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
Wait, what is an isla?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the Pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Windy, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulin Day is...
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
Okay, what is the pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The Pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
The negation of...
That's right. The negation of being.
She tightens her hood around her neck. It's cold outside. Is it here?
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And point north. There?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called Porch Collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist. Cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism. A mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
What are its physical qualities? If you were surrounded by pale, how do you get from Isla to Isla? How much pale is there compared to the world?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into Pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. numbers stop working. No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible. Oh, it is so difficult for us. It is possible to force dimensions on the Pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the Pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The Pale can damage the mind?
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
What does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger.
No, nameless detective of the Citizens Militia. I am a member of the Entropanetic Business Class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well. The strange grey-haired woman in her lorry.
Do lorry drivers pass the Pale?
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
Yeah, she was coming a little off.
You should ask the Pale driver about this. See what she says.
Yeah.
That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
What is entropanetic?
Entropanetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of Grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
Did they cross it? The Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What does entropanetics change then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft?
Hybrid airships, detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
If we do not?
Then they don't.
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how? To our detriment or?
What do you think, detective?
She looks into your eyes. It's shrinking. There's more and more of the world. It's growing. There's more and more of the Pale.
Oh no, detective.
Damn it.
It's not. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
It's not extreme at all. It's going to happen. Cover everything. That can't be where we would go.
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Alright, let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, detective, Is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I sometimes sense vague shadows of the past, and it's not good. I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know this.
Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
It's terrifying. You're right, it's Disco. It will end all life. That we continue to persist at all is a testament to our faith in one another. Its advance can only be stopped with immediate, total, ruthless communism. Going with Disco.
Mm-hmm.
Her eyes tense, crow's feet ready to cape from them. She observes you, your bloodshot eyes and swollen face.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
I'll handle it, it's under control. This investigation will be my masterpiece, the one they remember me by, I promise. Yes, I'm in serious trouble here. It'll be a fucking disaster, I know it, all those people will die.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
She gives you a slight bow.
Good. You have not passed out from it. Perhaps I worried for nothing. Are we still on the reality lowdown, or should we do actual police work now?
You needn't worried. I was fucking insane, Kim. Right, let's get the work, Lieutenant.
Good luck, detectives.
She nods you goodbye. Whew, okay, there's a lot going on there. Got 30 experience from it though. And after all that crazy reality talk, I think it's time to wrap up the video. So thank you so much for coming through, checking out part 12 of the Disco Elysium playthrough. You already know what to do if you're enjoying the series. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And we're gonna check you back part 13, unlucky number 13, on the next one. Until then, y'all, peace out.